Now, we can categorize all effort in combating climate change into these two categories. We can look at preventive measures and adaptive measures. Now, overall, what most countries have done when we talk about subsidizing renewable energy, when we talk about carbon sequestration, right? These are all preventive measures because the goal is to reduce the emission of greenhouse gas, right? And so that and there are hundreds of preventive measures, right, that we can talk about. But one of the things that we should consider more and more is adaptive measures. As we saw in chapter 12, this IPCC model simulations doesn't give much hope in avoiding the coming climate change effect, right? Because it is very unlikely that we will keep the 2 degrees Celsius from happening, or we will prevent the temperature increase from more than 2 degrees Celsius. So adaptive measures. Now, what are adaptive measures? Well, any kind of activities, any kind of activities to reduce the magnitude or the risk of damage from global climate change. So, for example, right, we know that weather will be more severe, and the sea level might rise. So we can construct dikes and seawalls, right, to protect us, to protect ourselves. We know that season patterns will change. Therefore, we can invest into shifting agriculture patterns and so on, right? And so now here's a video I'd like to share with you. This is going back, revisiting Bangladesh, and looking at the farming community there, and see the type of adaptive measures that those communities have taken on today, because they have already begun to experience a climate change impact. Right. Here is this is definitely not an exhaustive list. This is just some more examples of adaptive strategies that your book has pointed out. And again, this is from the IPCC report. And so this is actually a big part of the IPCC report is this emphasis on investing into adaptation strategies. And I think, unfortunately, right, it's not getting that much coverage, right? Okay, so, and here we can take a look here. One interesting thing, as I like to point out, there are some countries doing very well, or as you must reaping the benefit of climate change. One of them is Greenland. So Greenland, because so much ice has melted, many small towns in Greenland has become major tourist destinations. Well, COVID kind of put a pause on that for the moment, but after COVID is over, right, a lot of you could go visit Greenland. And so here's a nice article here we can take a look at, or you can take a look at if you like.